Here is the story of a man who defied the odds to build a pension empire straight out of a garage. A man who once paid 500 Kenya shillings for rent. Today, he has over 150 people on his monthly payroll. There's not many people who approach their bosses and ask them to retire so they can start a business together, or take the risk of informing their bosses that they are interviewing for a position in a rival company. When it comes to writing a different narrative, Fred Waswa has done just that. But he never did it alone. Despite losing his dad while he was still young, his wife and children have been a strong support system.
He's loving, he's caring, he just has his heart out for you, for me as a son anyway, for us as his children, for the office, for his work. He's just passion all through.
All my holidays between school, I used to come and work in the office. And it's been an interesting time because he's very chilled and laid back. People would think he'd be very strict and insist, oh, you have to be, do this and do that. But it's been such an interesting experience working with him. I don't think there's a huge difference between him being dad the CEO and dad the dad. The one interesting thing is we all talk English. So normally when I meet up with him and my friends, they're like, oh, you speak in English with your dad? I'm like, yeah, that's the language you use to communicate with. So that's what we normally do. And it's very interesting because then it's very easy to communicate with him. He's very easy to talk to.
Watch to find out how Fred Waswa rose to become the Group MD, Octagon Africa.
Karibu. Asante sana. Yes.
How are you?
It's a pleasure.
Pleasure to meet you.
Karibu sana.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Asante. Hello everybody and welcome to Top Job with me, Mwenesi Musalia. Today we're talking about pensions and why it's important to save for your retirement. I am in the lovely home of Fred Waswa, Managing Director and Founder of Octagon Africa. And today I'm feeling super special. Thank you so much for having me, Fred.
Karibu sana.
Yeah?
Karibu.
Good,
Karibu
good
sana.
stuff.
Yeah, karibu sana.
Good. So we're going to talk about pensions today, but for those who don't know what exactly a pension is, can you tell us a little bit about that aspect?
A pension, usually when you talk to older people about pension, they understand it very quickly because it's a monthly income they get from from wherever they work.
So older people know what pension is about.
That's right,
Yes.
that's right. But the younger people don't even understand what you're talking about when you talk about pension.
Yes.
But ideally, pension is a saving. It's a saving that one creates over time as they work, so that at normal retirement age, then they're able to turn back on that very saving to get a regular income in retirement. Because at the end of the day, when you are working you've worked for 35 years, when you retire, really you don't have enough energy to work again to be able to get money. And therefore you need something to live on because you won't die when you retire. You have to live another maybe 30, 40 years to go in retirement. and yet you need money too. So you need to save to create a fund so that at normal retirement age, you turn back to that fund, it gives you a regular income, what we call a pension.
Now tell me, Fred, because you obviously seem to have a knowledge of this. Did you always have this growing up? Did you have this idea that you would save and whatnot? Tell me a little bit about growing up, where you were born, how you were raised and so on.
Okay, I was born in Bungoma County. I grew up in Bumula Sub-County. I went to school, primary school in Kimatuni RC Primary School, and went to secondary school in French School Kamsinga. Very popular school. And then I did quite well, and then went to Maseno High School in my A-levels. Then when I finished Maseno High School, and that's how I started of course, in Maseno High School, I was having a teacher who was called, who was a Canadian mathematics teacher. And in Form 5, end of Form 5, he comes to me and tells me, look, you are very good in maths. Can you be able to try something called actuarial science exams? So I asked him, what does that mean? What does it mean? He said something about finance, things to do with the mathematics of finance. So I said, oh, I can try it. And I said, but I don't have money. My father died when I was about 14 years old. Okay. And in A-level, I actually used bursary to be able to learn. The whole school gave me a bursary. So I couldn't afford anything. So my teacher said, I'll pay for you. So he paid for me for the American Society of Actuary exams. I did for the first exam and I passed in April in 1985. And then he tells me, when you go to university, make sure you do the rest of exams. I told him, when I get money, I'll be able to do that. So when I finished my A-level in 1985, the first place to do was, the first thing, of course, those days you could stay at home for 2 years before you go to university. So what I did, I got a place to teach. And I was getting a salary of 1,300 Kenya shillings per month.
As a teacher?
As a teacher.
What were you teaching?
I was teaching mathematics and chemistry. Okay. Yes, I was maths and chemistry in a school called Kimabole Secondary School in Mount Elgon. So what I used to do is that every time I'll come back home, at the end of the month, I'll give my mother 300 Kenya shillings to keep for me.
Of the 1,300?
Of the 1,300. 300 Kenya shillings to keep for me. And then, of course, I'll do some shopping for the rest of the money. And when I was going to NYS in 1987, when going to NYS for the program that we used to go through NYS before we go to university, my mother gave me 4,500 shillings out of the savings that I had saved. That's when I realized saving is important. That when you put only 300 Kenya shillings all along, and it actually earns you some income, and then at the end I get some money. So that's the money I went to use when I was going to NYS.
That culture of saving, that culture of putting money aside, of thinking about the future is something that was bred in very early on.
Absolutely, right. absolutely. And that has, basically it's became something that in my heart I would want to do every day. When I went to university, we're getting a boom of 4,500 or something like that. Yeah.
The good old days of
the good old days of
boom. Some of us who are not that young but not that old, we remember those days.
yes, when university was university. Yeah. Yes. And so that boom, what I would, first of all,
Please explain what boom is for those who don't know what boom is.
Boom is an allowance that government will give students, for every semester to use, and by then
the government would give you an allowance.
An allowance, yes, an allowance. Just for you to use. But then they have given you lunch, they have given you breakfast, they have given you dinner, and the lunch was, breakfast was 2-course, 3-course lunch.
In fact, I think we're going to deal with this.
We need to deal with this one.
We need to deal with this one. But continue, So I'm very interested. So you went to university and you managed now to get into actuarial science.
So I went to university and I did Bachelor of Science Mathematics. And of course, when I was doing A-level, my desire was to do agriculture. It was at my agriculture. So, but when my maths teacher told me I'm very good in maths, I was wondering, well, I'm just good in maths now, but I want to do agriculture. But then I didn't get a principal in biology. I got 2 principals with the 2 subsidiaries. So what I decided to do was to go to university and do Bachelor of Science General Mathematics. So in 3rd year, we graduated in 1990 from the university. And in 1990, as we were graduating, Professor George Saitoti, the Minister for Finance, announces and says every university, every insurance company should employ an actuarial trainee. So it clicked in my mind about the training, the exams I did in 1985. To that, I said, this is the actuarial work out here to be done.
Here we go.
Yeah, so here we go. I applied and got a job in Pioneer Insurance as an actuarial trainee. In 1991, January, that's when I started my program in 1991, January.
I want us to pause so that you can tell me, we can have a little bit of breakfast.
Some breakfast, yes.
Yeah,
please, welcome.
Yeah.
I'll serve you a bit.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Is that something that young people think about, that at some point you need to be putting money aside? At what age would you advise young people to start putting money aside? Because we sit here and we're thinking we're going to work forever, and that our bodies are going to be this strong, we're going to be this productive into our 70s and our 80s.
Absolutely, young people, that saving is supposed to start from the first day you start working.
So day one, when you get your first
paycheck.
When you
get your first paycheck, make sure you put aside some money, because that first of all will create a culture. And money, once money you get used to it, it disappears. So if you want to save it, it's not there. But once you save it, then the one remaining with becomes what you use. And it becomes a culture, and it becomes something that you want to do on a monthly basis. So it should start from day one.
Is it just about saving, or is it about putting money somewhere that it can actually do something?
What happens is that you don't just put money in a box somewhere. So
because I was going to say, why can't I just put my money in a mattress?
In a mattress and then you keep it. Yeah. What happens is that money is eaten by inflation.
Okay.
Inflation is that the money you had today, if you have 200 shillings today, Tomorrow when you wake up in the morning, you don't have 200 shillings. You have 200 shillings less inflation of about 5%.
So every day that money is going down?
It's going down. It's going down. So what you need to do is to put in a place where that 200 shillings gives you another income of about 10%. So next day you have 220. So inflation is 5. You have 205.
So that's what you guys do, is you make sure that if I have 500 bob today and I give it to Octagon, Octagon will make sure that that 500 is still worth the equivalent of 500 in the future. And even when I now retire, I can pay myself a small salary.
Absolutely.
Welcome back to Top Job with me, Mwenesi Musalia. How do you get the confidence to go? First of all, it means that you must have a very good relationship with your boss, or you're used to hanging around them. Is that something that you can say that you had, or was it just a spur of the moment where you just said, "Dear God, let me try this thing and see what happens"?
There are bosses who are very good, yeah, but they may not be people that can open up to coach or open up to mentor or things like that. You as an employee, you must design methods of how to get what you want from that boss.
I see.
You get it. You must start saying, how do I become friends? Because when you become a friend, then he will open up, he will start talking, he will start opening up, he will start telling you what he does, and you start learning how to succeed, because your boss is your first person you're looking forward to be. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I have done all throughout. For example, in Minet,
yes.
Standard Chartered Bank advertised wanting a pension administrator, a company to do a pension administration. The minute we apply, as Minet ICDC, we apply to be able to provide service.
Yes.
And after we have applied, the bank goes quiet. That was in 1996. They go quiet completely. Then early 1997, they advertised in the newspapers a pension manager job. They want a pension manager job. So
in the beginning, they advertised for an administrator.
Yes.
Now, which was an organization.
Correct.
And then now the next year, they advertised for a single
person to come in as a pension manager. So Minet was asking, what have they decided to do it in-house?
Yes.
They don't want to outsource it. So I said, fine. So I look at the advert, and I go to my boss and tell my boss, he's called Julius Ngumbi. I tell my boss, Julius, I want to apply for this job.
You're joking.
Yes.
You went to your existing boss,
my boss,
and showed him an advert in the paper and said, this ad, which is in another company,
yes,
I want to apply
for it. He said, what? I said, yes. He said, no, please don't. First of all, he told me, no, Joyce will kill us. Because the previous year I had just been voted the best employee of the year, and been promoted to become the quality assurance manager. This is to do with the quality assurance. So
I'm still in shock. I'm trying to understand how you can walk into your boss's office and say, I'm applying for a job somewhere else.
He was a friend of mine. He was so close.
Right.
He was so close. We could have a chat. We could have a cup of tea.
Right.
Things like that. In the morning one day, I go to my boss and tell him, look here, you know what? I told you I want to be a consultant. He said, so go on. I said, no, you are retiring this year. Then he said, yes, I'm retiring this year. He's a British guy. So I told him, you know what? I'm thinking, when you retire, I quit. Then we start a consultancy. And he said, are you talking to your boss? Do you know you can be dismissed? And I told him, I have looked at those options before I came here. I knew that there's one option of getting dismissed.
Wow.
And that would maybe the only thing that would take me into the consultancy if you don't come along with me. So he was close. He was my functional line manager. Yeah, he was close. So I know that he was a very close friend to late Huntington Awori. Then Huntington was the chairman of the bank's pension funds.
Yes.
So I used to interact with the Huntington quite a lot. So I go to his house to deliver papers, and I tell Huntington, you know what, I want to start consultancy, and I would want to do it with Roger, the Orion. I said, oh. I said, yes, but he's not. So I wanted you to talk to him, and Huntington found a way, and they talked to him. So he calls me one day and tells me, look here, even you have talked to Huntington about this. I said,
there are many ways to skin a cat.
I really want us to do this. You have so much experience. We need to pass it on to our people here, in retirement benefits.
Wow.
So he tells me, go and register the company and let me know where you have registered.
Yes.
So I go to the Regis Chambers and get the company registered, get the name, and the name was Kingsland Court Trust and Benefit Services. I come and show him and he says, you have even registered I was in the UK in this house, Shrewsbury. This house was in the Kingsland Court. So his house court was Kingston Court. So he tells me, you have even registered the company in my court. How is my court in the UK? I said, just for you to,
As in, I am serious and I want you to be part of
to
this
be part
thing.
of this thing.
Yes.
To be part of this thing. So we get the company registered, and that was 2000, early 2000, maybe mid 2000. So he was supposed to be retiring end 2000.
But nothing in your mind was telling you, okay, now that this guy is retiring in 1 year, maybe I should take his job.
No.
That was never ever in your mind.
That was never in my mind. That was never in my mind. I had this passion about giving the service to these guys who really wanted me out there.
Got you.
You get it? Guys who had provided service to eliminate, really wanted me. There was one guy, I was telling somebody a story yesterday. There's like one guy who was the most difficult client, Lufthansa German Airlines. Yeah? Every time that guy would call Minette, anybody, as long as it's somebody standing on a phone,
you're
he's
talking
talking to Lufthansa Airlines. So he was given to me.
Yes.
That client was given to me. And Davis Cairo says, okay, you handle that client.
Yeah, difficult fellows give Fred.
Yes, handle that client. So what I did, I looked for a way of meeting him. But he had refused. So one day I told the secretary, I'm coming to deliver documents. Then I walk into the secretary's office with my documents, and the secretary says, do you want to meet him? I said, yes. He said, it's very difficult. I said, no. I just tell him, there are documents here to be signed. He says, bring them in. So I walk in, and then I tell him, my name is Fred Waswa. He looked at me and said, this small boy, you are the one. Then he kept going. I said, but you know what? You're the only one who's given me very good service in a minute. And he tells me, so you want to do your business? You go ahead and do your business. I tell him, are you still going to do all? Can you wait for me for 2 years? I said, no. I'm going to do my business. I will go and do my business. I said, but please, what I need is only an office.
That's it.
Then he told me, we had organized to buy he bought a bank house. So I told him, can you give me an office in your house? And he said, no, I'll give you a garage. So
a garage now.
So how to sort yourself out. And I'm gone. So
that's a different level, because now you've come from, I'm sure, the corporate Kenya, with all the trappings, the office.
Absolutely.
Now, Fred, you've decided, now let me start my own thing, Kingsland.
Yes.
Let me go and put myself in a garage. Which is like a corner of a house.
Absolutely.
And you are completely okay with that?
And I'm okay with that.
Never despise humble beginnings, guys.
Yes.
One
of the things is, I always say that when you go to Aegis Chambers and ask who has registered the most number of companies in this country, they'll tell you Fred Waswa. Because my first company to register was in 1992, a company called Katra Services. Because I grew up. I'm the firstborn of an eight children. All of us are 8.
Wow.
That's why the company is called Octagon. Yeah, 8. We're 8 of us. 6 boys and 2 girls. My first is a girl, and the last is a girl. So I follow my sister. Now it was a challenge because I had to make sure that my brothers go to school. My father died long time ago. My mother was a simple primary teacher. So I was looking for any income that I could be able to get. And I started with the cattle services and was supplying fish to Museum of Kenya in 1992.
I see. So all this entrepreneurial, it was already there from before?
Absolutely. I did a hotel in Kawangware.
Come on.
Yes, I did a hotel in Kawangware. Many other businesses in between there. But the last business I did before I started now consultancy was I was running a college on Imend House. A computer college on Imend House. So when I wanted to go out, I said, look here, these things. And when I started the college, I started with one computer. The college grew into about 25 computers. I discovered actually you can grow a business.
So by the time you were moving into this garage,
yes,
you already had some maneuvering.
Yes,
you knew
yes,
how to do business development. You knew how to grow businesses.
That's right.
So for you, it was already part and parcel.
It was already part and parcel of me because we do supplies. Sometimes you get a tender. I remember I got a tender from Connecticut, and I supplied stationery. Up to date, they have never paid me.
Story of our lives.
Yes, story of our lives, I tell you. Entrepreneurship is not the easiest thing.
Yes.
So I decided to make up the courage. So of course, now he decides in January he flies off to Sierra Leone in January 2001. Yeah. So now I started planning to resign. And in about February, I go to my HR director's office, and tell him, look here, I want to resign. It was a nation, it's called Chandraskar, Pingali. I told him, Chandru, I want to resign. He said, what? Resign? He said, yes. He said, is there something that we have not
Yes.
done for you? I said, no, I am comfortable. I've had a fantastic career in this bank. You have trained me a lot, and I think I can be able to provide service out there. So he said, what do you want to do? I said, I want to do business. He said, Fred, business in this environment, 2001, we're getting towards the 2002 elections. You get it? The Moi elections, the change, yeah. So the country, the economy was running at even -1. So it was crazy. So he told me that in the kind of economy you're going to run a business, he told me, you must be stupid. Fred, you are leaving an international bank. Yeah.
You know, you told me about the story of how when you quit Minet,
Yes.
someone was telling you, how are you going to survive? How are you going to, there are always naysayers telling you, you can't do it, you can't make it, you can't.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
How do you overcome that? How do you overcome people telling you, no, look at the economy, look at this situation? And many people, it enters their head.
Yes, yes.
And then they get discouraged.
Yeah, no, one thing is that you must have a strong inner will.
Okay, let's not call it the stupidity, but I want to see this thing that you created, because obviously you've spoken about how now you've left a big international bank to start Kingsland from a garage.
Yes.
Is there any way that I can see what this new business of yours looks like now today? Tell me about how you changed from Kingsland to Octagon. Yes.
Now, when I started Kingsland in 2001, my boss was away for 2 years. So he came back in 2003. And we ran the business. And at that time, I had grown the clients. I remember in 2001, when I left the bank didn't want to replace me in the bank, And they asked me whether I can do the job outside. Oh, it's so fantastic. I said, yeah, I can do this as an outsourced service. So they gave me a contract for the job I was doing. I got a contract. Yeah, so it became a service. I became a service provider.
So now the bank was your client.
Yes, so now the bank became my client.
Look at that.
You get it. So
Amazing.
2 days a week, I was working for the bank. 3 days, I was working for myself.
Talk about having your cake and eating it. Amazing.
So June, July, August, September, December, I had one client called Standard Chartered. In December, Roger comes back from Sierra Leone and tells me, look here, if you have the same client in June, I'm not going to be ashamed running a business with one client. We'll close the company and wind it up, and I will get you for your job in the bank. It hit me like a bomb. I went for Christmas home and came back in January, February. A call comes, and I get a client. It's U.S. Embassy. U.S. Embassy wants a job done. And the job to them, they have looked for a solution for 3 months. They can't get a solution. They ask me to look at it. I look for it. I look at the thing for about 3-4 days. I get the solution. I think maybe I'm wrong. I again look at it. I go back to the same solution. And I call them. I said, I've got what you are looking for. So she comes. I explain to her. First of all, she came to my office. That garage. I had one desk, one chair, 2 chairs. One chair this way, the other chair
this
this
is
way.
the U.S. Embassy.
U.S. Embassy, yes. HR officer, U.S. Embassy, plus her husband. So she tells me, oh, this is your office? I said, yes. She says, when did you start? I said, we started about 6 months ago, We're just setting up, and we said, so can you able to do this work? I said, yes. How long? So I explained to her how long I've been in pension industry and things like that. She said, we have this problem. I said, can you do it? I said, I can do it. And she tells me how much, and I tell her it's 300,000, 400,000 Kenyan shillings. And she writes me an email. I said, look here, I need you to do it right. This is the terms of reference. Tell me exactly how much you'll charge. So the friend who introduced me, I called him. It's called Jonathan Stridgebury. I called him, and Jonathan tells me, no, they think in dollars. Don't quote in Kenya shillings. They think in dollars. So I said, no, I need a client. This client is between me and closure of this business. Because Roger, when he comes back in June, he'll close the business. So I told Jonathan, I said, no, quote the right figure. So I go back and say 800,000 Kenyan shillings. She says, okay, fine. If you do it right within the 2 weeks that we have agreed, I'll pay you 800,000. But if you exceed my expectations, I'll give you 2.8 million shillings. She tells me, can you come to U.S. Embassy in the evening and do what? We'll put you on the screen for Washington. We explain to Washington. So I go to the U.S. Embassy in the evening. They put on the screen. I explain to them. The guy in the screen says, young man has got it. Then when we finish, she tells me, go and get me an invoice of your 2.8 million shillings.
Hey.
And you know what? I go to my boss in the bank. I tell him, Chandru, I got a job, which I did in 3 days. They got 2.8 million shillings. He says, you can't be serious. Forget it, you are lying. I tell him, look here, this is the invoice. Tells me, Fred, you go away. Every time Chandru will come back, now he left the bank. Every time Chandru will come back from India, he always looks for me and says, can we have lunch?
There's something cooking
cooking
here with this guy.
This guy is a foolish man. This guy is a foolish man. So
That is incredible.
then from there, the business basically
That
picked
is
up.
This story of yours can go on forever.
I guess.
But I want us to go and see the story where it's actually happening.
Okay.
Do you mind if we head to your office? and check
Absolutely,
it out?
absolutely. Welcome so much to Octagon Africa.
Beautiful.
Yes, yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much,
All right.
Mwenezi. It's a pleasure for
I'll see you there.
having you today.
All right.
Okay.
Asante sana.
Thanks. Welcome.
So this is West Park building, yeah?
West Park Suits.
West Park Suits in
Yes,
Parklands.
yes, of Spark.
Okay.
In Parklands, Ojujo Road. This is the Institute of Pension Management.
This is a part of the business.
This is part of the business.
So you've got four elements.
We have four elements in our business.
Okay.
We have pension, we have insurance, we have property, and we have training. We aim to be in 8 countries by 2022. We also would like to be in 5 counties locally.
Oh, locally.
Yes, locally, 5 counties. We would like to get into Nyeri and Eldoret. Those are very, very vibrant, very fast-growing counties, and we would like to basically position there for small, medium enterprises.
Well, I'm sure with what you've got going on here and the kind of dedication and commitment that you have, you will certainly accomplish that.
No, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
I'm so grateful that you've taken the time for showing me around.
It's a pleasure.
Let me
yes,
release
yes.
you so that you can continue with the wonderful business of serving Kenyans.
Thank you so much.
I really appreciate it.
Thank you for coming,
Thank you.
Mwenezi.
All right.
It's a pleasure.
Such a pleasure.
Yeah. So,
Thank
thank
you
you.
so much.
And karibu tena.
Asante. All right.
Okay, thanks.
A strong belief in God and a love for numbers. If you're the mathematical kind, maybe a career in pension management is for you. Thank you so much for watching Top Job with me, Mwenezi Musalia. That was a great interview with Fred Waswa, the managing director and founder of Octagon Pension Africa Limited. Remember, it's all about power moves only.